When we finally made it to the school and walked out of the ship, I was amazed at the sights. The entire school was reminiscent of an old medieval fantasy castle, but a notable detail was a number of futuristic buildings scattered around and connected to the castle. It was almost like the two themes were clashing for dominance. Though the last thing that caught my eye was far out into the distance. There was an old tower that looked close to collapsing. I didn't know why, but it was like something was trying to pull my attention to the tower. My attention was quickly pulled back by a loud but collected voice. "Attention, new students." The video came from a tall hooded figure that concealed his face inside the hood. "Please, follow me to the ceremony area." The hooded man started to tone, but not in a normal way. It was like he was standing on a rotating platform. He also looked like he was floating. As we followed him, I noticed how big the halls were, and how empty they were as well. "Hey, shouldn't students be walking around? This is a school, right?" I asked SIG, who was the closest I had to a guide. "My siblings told me this is all part of the ceremony," SIG answered. "They bring all the new students, and while everybody else is already at the ceremony area to let the new students get a spiritual feel of how big and important the school is. It's all theatrics." At first, I thought everybody was going to be the same snooty, spoiled brats that would have publicly humiliated me for not knowing the ins and outs of an esteemed school. But I felt a little more at ease that others shared some human traits. Eventually, after walking through more empty halls, we made it to a set of giant double doors. On each door, a hooded figure pulling a horizontal chain is depicted. There was also a set of text above them. They seemed too big for anybody to open. The hooded man then turned to us again and spoke in the same loud and collected voice. "New students. These doors are the gateway into your new life at this school. As a tradition, we ask for any students among you to step up, show the potential of this next generation, and open this door for your peers to follow through. But should the students fail, another will step up to take your place. And for the reward of the students who do open these doors, a personal gift will be given to you by the headmaster himself." That final comment gave motivation to the students. A few began to try their luck. A few tried some incantation. Another tried a levitation spell. Several more tried to recite an opening spell. But nothing worked. After a while other students were still trying, I began my plan. "SIG, can you read the text on the door?" I asked. "Yeah, I've been wondering what it meant for a while now. It says, 'For where one with magic fails, and where one without succeeds, where the scholar alone is blind, the scholar together can see.' I still don't get it." Wait. What's the biggest detail of everybody that came before?" I asked. "They did it by themselves? Oh, they also used magic. Bingo. But how are we going to be able to both get up there? I'm sure he meant one at a time." "But did he ever specify it?" "Well, couldn't hurt to try." As me and SIG began to walk up to the door, the hooded man stopped us. "Which of you is trying to open the door?" It asked. "Actually, both of us will." I said, holding my breath. The hooded man said nothing and moved aside. "Oh my God, it worked." I said, finally breathing. "Yeah, it did, but now how are we going to open these giant doors without magic?" SIG asked. "Well, the first clue was on the door. Maybe we should look at the door itself." As me and SIG began to inspect the door, I noticed that it was made of a type of metal. Then I noticed the indent in the door. It was reminiscent of a handle. I called out to SIG. "SIG, there's an indent on my door in the shape of a handle. Try your side." Sure enough, there was one on Sig's side as well. After inspecting the door a little more, I noticed something interesting. SIG put your ear up against the door. When he did so, I gave a light knock. It echoed on the inside. "It's hollow. Grab your handle and he'll grab mine," I said as we got into place. "Okay, when I say pull, we pull at the same time. Ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3, pull." As we started pulling the doors, they began to creak open, eventually opening all the way to reveal a large auditorium with hundreds of students in the seats. Many of them cheered and clapped for us as we walked down the center aisle with the rest of the new students in tow. On the stage, there were what I assumed to be the faculty, and on a central podium was Professor Boone. Welcome new students. Please take your seats in the middle column seats, except for the two who opened the doors. Please come up to the stage in front of the podium. Following the request, me and SIG made our way up to the center where the podium was. Professor Boone stepped out from behind it, going to his full posture of a noticeable 2 feet above me and SIG. You, who saw the challenge of the door that lay before you, knowing that the door was unable to be opened with magic, how did you figure it out? Boone asked, directing the question at me. Well, I saw that there was text on the door itself. I didn't know how to read it, so I asked SIG to see if he knew. And he did. And you, when you did make it up to the door, how did you figure out how to open it? Boone asked SIG. When Robin and I began inspecting the door, he was the first to point out the handles and how the door was hollow. With that, Professor Boone returned to the podium and began to speak to the rest of the students. These two have shown their innovation, ability to work together and call on each other for help when they couldn't find the answer themselves. The reward for both of them is a shared suite of the highest quality. Now, for the individual reward, it is one request that I will grant my highest power. And let me remind you that as a headmaster, I have quite a lot. I felt myself get tense at the final comment, and as I heard the student behind me begin to whisper loudly, continuing on with the rest of the ceremony, I asked the two of you to state your full names and origin and choose. In front of me and SIG, a sword and Quill appeared. I was hesitant, so I waited for SIG to choose. He was hesitant as well. After a long period of staring, I was the first to choose. I am Robin T. Burger Terra. I choose the Quill. As I reached out to it, it disappeared. In its place were fabrics that swirled around me and tightened around my body, eventually becoming a new set of clothes with the ones that I was originally wearing vanishing as the new uniform rested on my body. The uniform was a basic gray button-up undershirt with a black suit jacket with yellow accents and a pair of slacks with dress shoes. A yellow tie appeared on my neck with a quill etched on it. A name tag also appeared with my name and a quill next to it. SIG stared at the two choices in front of him for a while. Apparently, he was more nervous than I was. Eventually, he took a deep breath and spoke. I am Sigfurn of Lamorous Bear School of Algin Fry, and I choose the Quill. After he chose, the auditorium erupted into gasps, whispers, and various comments of surprise. Even I, who didn't understand anything about his culture, understood,